Hello, everyone. Welcome to Political Excess. Today we've got the last primary that's coming up Tuesday, August 2nd, and that is in Missouri. So let's jump right in, go to the U.S. House, and start in the 1st District. Now, this is the St. Louis area, and incumbent Democrat Cori Bush. She's running for re-election, but does have a challenger from a more moderate candidate, Steve Roberts. There's a couple of polls here that show Bush in the lead. So let's jump over to the market, and we can see Cori Bush does have an overwhelming 93 to 5 cent lead. Let's go on to the 2nd District, where incumbent Republican Ann Wagner is running for re-election. She'll have minor opposition in the primary. It doesn't really matter who the Democrats nominate. This is very likely to stay with the Republicans. In the 3rd District, with Republican Blaine Luetkemeyer, he's not in danger of losing that primary, and the Democrats also, they have no chance to pick this seat up. In the 4th District, incumbent Republican Vicky Hartzler, she's retiring to run for U.S. Senate. So that's an open seat, so there's a competitive primary on the Republican side. The main two contenders there are Mark Alford, former news anchor, and Rick Bratton, state senator. There is one poll here. It shows Alford with a lead, but that's only at 21%. Plenty of undecideds. There is a market. Let's take a look at that. And there it shows Mark Alford at 63 cents, so he has a lead, but there's still a chance he might lose. The Democrats in that district, doesn't matter, they're not going to be able to pick this seat up. Let's take a look at the 5th District, that is the Kansas City area, and incumbent Democrat Emanuel Cleaver, he might have minor opposition in a primary, nothing he's going to have to worry about. The Republican side is essentially irrelevant there, because the seat is going to stay with the Democrats. In the 6th District, incumbent Republican Sam Graves. He's running for re-election. He does have some primary challenges here, but nothing appears to be substantial. I expect him to coast to victory there. And on the Democratic side, it's another deep red seat, so it doesn't really matter what the Democrats have going on. Next up in the 7th District, incumbent Republican Billy Long, he's retiring also to run for U.S. Senate, so there's a competitive primary on the Republican side. If we scroll down and take a look at the polling, we could see it's a three-way race between Eric Burleson, Mike Moon, and Jay Wasson, with plenty undecided. Let's take a look at the market, and there it shows Eric Burleson with a pretty substantial lead at 83 cents over Jay Wasson at 28, and Mike Moon has only 1 cent. So it's going to be between Burleson and Wasson, with Burleson highly favored. On the Democratic side, again, safe red seat. Doesn't matter who they nominate. And the last district is the 8th District. Incumbent Republican Jason Smith, he's running for re-election. He'll have no trouble winning that nomination. And for the Democrats, there is also no chance they'll be able to pick this seat up. So let's move on to the statewide races. And the big one here is for U.S. Senate. Incumbent Republican Roy Blunt, he is not running for re-election, so there's a competitive primary, and there are a ton of Republicans that want this seat. It mostly comes down to 3 main contenders. First is Eric Greitens, the former governor who resigned a few years ago. He is the most controversial one, also the most anti-establishment. He does have some baggage. Also Vicky Hartzler, she's the U.S. representative who's retiring. And Eric Schmidt, he's the current Attorney General of Missouri. All 3 of them have some endorsements, and as of the time I'm making this video, Donald Trump has not endorsed any candidate in this race. He may at the last minute, but as of now, there's no endorsement. I think they all want his endorsement. I think Eric Greitens would be the one people would think he would endorse, but Greitens is viewed as a little weaker in the general. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the polling down here. There's a lot of polls for this primary. It's gone back and forth over the months, but the most recent few polls do show Eric Schmidt with a bit of an edge. So let's take a look at the market. There, Eric Schmidt has a huge lead. He's over 90 cents. Vicky Hartzler and Eric Greitens, they're in single digits. So based on this, Eric Schmidt appears to be in position to claim that nomination. So unless something changes in the last day or two, I would assume it would be Schmidt. Let's not forget about the Democrats in this race. They have a competitive primary as well. There's a bunch of declared candidates you can see here. But the main two are Lucas Kuntz and Trudy Bush Valentine. They both have some endorsements, and we could go down here and take a look at some polls. And the most recent polls there showed Trudy Bush Valentine with a modest lead. So let's take a look at the market, and there Trudy Valentine is sitting comfortably over 80 cents, while Lucas Kunz is in the low 20s. As for the general election, I'll take more of a look at that once the primaries have wrapped up. But let's quickly glance at the market there, and the Republicans there are very heavily favored to win that, 94 to 7 cents. It's just not going to happen for the Democrats in any realistic scenario for picking up this seat. And one last bonus statewide election to take a look at is for state auditor. It's actually a Democrat that holds that seat, Nicole Galloway, who ran for governor last time. She's not running for re-election. So Republicans want to claim this office to have complete control of state government. It looks like on the Democrat side, it's going to be Alan Green. And on the Republican side, there is a competitive primary. But if we look at the polling, Scott Fitzpatrick, who is the current state treasurer, he generally has a lead over David Gregory. There are a lot of undecideds, but I would imagine he would win that seat. It's not the most important office, but it's one I wanted to throw in here at the end. So that's a look at the Missouri primary coming up. Let me know down below what you think is going to happen, especially in that U.S. Senate primary. And if you enjoy these videos, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.